Welcome to the final episode in the personal styles series that I've been working on. I will go back to your regularly scheduled knitting content after this, I promise. So we're going to talk about what to do with your closet once you have all of your requirements put in place. What's next? How do I apply the information? A prerequisite for watching this is you probably want to watch the first three before diving into this one. Otherwise, the things I say in here probably aren't going to make a whole lot of sense. I love a massive declutter clean slate as much as the next person, but I found that to be just about the worst approach to adjusting your style. Because reinventing your style does not mean replacing your entire closet. I like to think of it like carving a statue from a solid block of granite. Hacking away at it might feel really good in the moment, but the true art comes into play when you make small changes with some level of intention. Letting the beautiful statue, or in this case, closet, reveal itself slowly over time. Now, if you want to scratch the itch of hitting the reset button without actually getting rid of all of your stuff, pack a bag or set aside your clothes as if you had 1 month that you needed to dress for and you could only bring one suitcase with you. Start by wearing these clothes exclusively, and then as you find you need more stuff or something's not working or you think about something in your closet and you're like, oh, that would actually be really nice to add to this, then you can pull in other pieces from your existing closet. It is a long-term project that should take months, if not years. It can just be incredibly helpful to isolate the clothing that you wear the most and love the most, set aside the rest. Because very few people actually own nothing they want to wear, and if you're someone that goes up to your closet often and you think, I have nothing to wear, one of the more common reasons for that is you maybe have too many options. If you decide that you do want to buy something or make it, because we got a lot of makers here, there are some questions I would recommend asking yourself. These are the questions that I ask myself. Usually in my head, I don't actually look at physical list of questions, but if that's a muscle you haven't been exercising, it might actually be helpful to write out a list of questions, and yours might be the same as mine, slightly different. You might add some, take some away. The first 3 videos I did should help you get to the process or the ability to pick out an item. So when you have an item in mind saying, I want to buy this or I want to make it, these are the questions to ask yourself. And the following questions, they're just a good starting point. You don't have to do these exactly. Your questions might look a little different. Does it fit in my color palette? Would it work with multiple items in my closet? Do I have to buy something in order to make this item make sense? An example would be a top or a dress that requires certain undergarments that you don't already own. Does it align with my style requirements? Can I wear this in different contexts? So is this an item that I could wear to work and if I go on a walk or to the grocery store? Does it work in different contexts of your life and your lifestyle? Are you willing to put in the effort to maintain this item the way it's meant to be? And that's it for the questions. I like to keep it pretty simple because if I'm so heavily scrutinizing everything, I never purchase an item of clothing. So there is such a thing as scrutinizing yourself a little bit too much. And those questions I found pretty much weed out a lot of mistakes. So if you answered yes to all of these questions for the item, it's a safe bet you're gonna like the item and wear it. And perhaps if you do purchase or make said item and you end up really loving it, then maybe that's grounds to get it in another color, if it's something you can see yourself wearing for another 10 years. If you answered yes to most of the questions but not all of them, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't get the item, but it's a moment to stop and reflect. Think about the questions you said no to. Are you okay moving forward understanding those no's? Like if I said no to I'm not willing to maintain this item, like if it's dry clean only and it'll destroy it to clean it any other way, I'm not going to the dry cleaners. I don't want to be spending money to be dry cleaning clothes on a regular basis. So I probably shouldn't get that item if I'm going to destroy it immediately or like can't clean it. But if the no was that it's slightly outside of my color palette, like maybe it's a black top. Laura Penrose, she's a knitwear designer, and she is working on, and maybe already released, what she's debating calling the Blair top. She hasn't settled on a name officially yet. And the version she did was this black cowl neck top. But black is not an item in my color palette. I don't really own a lot of black. I don't wear it much. So if that's the only no, is that it doesn't fit in my color palette, well, I might still want to make it in that black color because I thought it looked really good. I think I would wear it, and it does work with other stuff in my closet. If you answered no to half or most of the questions, then it's probably an opportunity to pass on it. Unless it's your wedding dress or something. I mean, use common sense, right? And if it's something that's truly out there, just kind of sit with it for a minute. Like, I purchased a pair of glitter boots. They're very sparkly boots that I really do love. I've only worn them probably 4 or 5 times since I purchased them. They take up space in my home, and I'm very precious about the storage space in my apartment. But I bought them anyways, knowing they weren't practical because I wore them to my wedding reception. It was a year and a half, I think, between the first time I saw those boots and knew I wanted them to the point that I actually purchased them. And I knew after a year and a half, if I still want them, I'm gonna get them. I don't regret it. So no one's gonna give you the correct answer. There's no exact math formula for figuring all this out. All of this is just a guideline. So at the end of the day, you're the one that has to trust yourself and live with these decisions. A pin I saw on Pinterest about 10 years ago that I feel like is appropriate to bring up now is the concept of the Buyerarchy of needs. It's a play on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and while it's not a perfect system that encapsulates all the nuance that you may want, I think it's just a good jumping off point. If you're someone that doesn't care about sustainability or personal finance or the idea of overconsumption, then this probably doesn't apply much to you, but most people care about one of those categories. So it's the using what you have is typically the best option. If you can't do that, then borrow it. If you can't do that, swap it. If you can't do that, thrift it. If you can't do that, make it, then buy it. And it's not a reason to feel overly guilty about every single purchase you make. Like, I really like denim jackets. And I've had this vision in my head for the past 3-4 years of my perfect denim jacket, my ideal one. And I've been hunting for it. And I'm patient. When I figure out that I like a certain item of clothing or I really want it, I will wait years until it reveals itself to me. And I knew it was something I didn't already own. It was not something that anyone I knew owned and was willing to get rid of. It's something I would want to wear on a regular basis, so borrowing it is kind of out because I'd want to wear it all the time. I know I don't have the skill level to make it at the same quality level as something made by someone else that's more skilled, so my remaining options were to thrift it or buy it. This will be different for everyone. My personal rule is I'm going to give it a specific period of time to thrift it. And if I don't find it in that time, then I'm going to let myself buy it. So for me with the denim jacket hunt, it had been over 2 years and I had not been able to find the denim jacket in my mind in thrift stores. So I let myself buy it. But I couldn't find anything in stores that I really wanted all that much. So I was still waiting. And one day I was wandering around Malaga, Spain, and happened into a thrift shop. And they had an entire rack of oversized denim jackets that were all perfect. They fit me amazing. There were literally 7 or 8 of them, all different styles, and I loved them all. And I only bought one. I'm glad I waited because I got something that I love. I wear it all the time. Hi. And I don't feel guilty about having purchased it because I at least went through my options and made a conscious choice. So I really love this visual, and I decided that I wanted to reinterpret it for decluttering specifically. So if you decide to declutter your closet, why do you do this every time? We don't bite for attention. That's how you stop getting attention. So if you decide that you want to go through and declutter your closet, this is, I think, a good strategy for moving through that decluttering process. So the ideal option when you're deciding to declutter, to me, is to give away that item to a friend, family member, someone that you know that's actually going to like that item and use it. Maybe even bringing it to a clothing swap in your area. The next best thing, shockingly, is to sell that item, even if it's just for a little bit. And this might be controversial, but you're assigning value to that item and you're forcing someone to exchange money for it. So that just proves they're more likely to actually care for that item and wear it. The next best thing would be to repurpose. So that's cutting up denim jeans and making them into a denim quilt. It's cutting that old towel into washcloths like women have been doing for hundreds of years. I don't know, hundreds of years. That might be bold. When was the bath towel invented? It's unraveling your old sweaters. It's cutting up your t-shirts and turning them into t-shirt yarn that you can make baskets with. This is a whole section of YouTube is just repurposing clothing. The next best thing would be to donate. There are a lot of ways to do this. If it's in good condition, donate it to an organization that's local to you, that's actually reputable and you know is going to get good use out of the item. Pippin, we're talking about serious things. There are organizations that collect, business professional clothing in order to give to people who can't afford to purchase their own so that they can go to interviews and be dressed professionally. So do a little research, ask around, see what's available in your area. You could organize a closet declutter with people in your life and collect a bunch of clothing and bring it specifically to a textile recycling facility or ship it out to one. Again, research what's available in your area. Local is always better. Almost always. I guess I shouldn't say always. That's a huge blanket statement. And if none of that can be done, and sometimes none of that can be done, it's unavoidable, you can send it to a landfill. Sometimes that's just what needs to happen. If it's something that has mold or infestation, you don't want to be sending that to somebody else to deal with that problem. It's okay. You can send it to the landfill in that case. You gotta do what you gotta do. So it's obviously not a perfect triangle, and some of these I think are grouped in the same level. Like to me, giving something away and selling it are equally good, but it also doesn't need to be perfect. It gets the point across. Another strategy with decluttering is to swap out your clothing by season. This is really common. I also do this by fit, which I think should be more common if you have the room to store clothing. So I personally store any clothing that is off season. So my really woolly winter sweaters, they're away in storage. But I also have a bin of clothing that doesn't fit me. So clothing that I like, but is either too small or too big. And that's a really nice thing to have if you have room for it. If you have clothing in your closet that you like, but it's too small, stop keeping it in your drawer. You can put that in storage. And if you do happen to be a smaller size at some point in the future, then you can wear it. I also have clothing that's a bit too big for me, and I don't get a lot of wear out of jeans that are a size or two too big. So I put those into storage because if something happens and I do end up putting on some weight, I have an option available and I don't need to panic and go through a whole bunch of like, oh my gosh, none of my clothes fit. It's like, no, I have jeans in a size smaller and a size bigger on hand, ready to go. And the last note on decluttering is the goal is to ideally declutter less and less year over year. That's how you know you're on the right track. Me in 2017 had 3 big trash bags she was taking to Goodwill because she was just letting anything in her closet willy-nilly, thinking, oh, it's just $5 at a thrift store. I can totally get it even if I'm not 100% in love with it. And I just ended up cluttering my closet way too much with that strategy. There is such a thing as thrifting too much, by the way. But 2025 me is a lot more selective with my clothing. Not everything is a straight up hit. You know, sometimes you got to take some chances. I've been looking for a pair of walking shorts, but I've never really owned walking shorts that I like. So how would I know what I like? So I went to a store, tried out a bunch of options, and eventually found a style that I think I like and made a conscious decision to purchase them. Full well understanding it might not be a win. I might not be in love with those. I might end up wearing shorts walking and absolutely hate it. It does happen. It's really impossible to hold yourself to a standard of perfection. With everything in your closet needs to be perfect. You need to wear it a billion times. No mistakes allowed. That's not realistic. But if you're putting some level of thought into what you're bringing in and you're being careful about what you're putting out or giving away, moving out, then you'll probably just naturally have less to declutter year over year. I had to do a section in here for making clothes just to plug it a little bit because this is a crafty channel. And I wanted to take a moment to sort of pitch the idea of making your own clothes if it's something that you've never done before. There's just something so magical about wearing things that you've made. And I just love and appreciate those items so much more. Like in what I'm wearing today, I made this necklace, I knit this tank top. And just to truly sell this, I have one example that I would like to share with you about how crafting helped my closet significantly. And my confidence. The first wearable item that I really learned how to make was a swimsuit. Kind of a bold place to start when it comes to making your own clothes, but I am so glad that I did that. I hated swimsuit shopping. Many of us do. You can relate to this, I am sure. Because when I went swimsuit shopping, nothing fit the way that I wanted it to. I didn't even feel like I had that strict of requirements for bottoms. I just wanted something high-waisted that went above my belly button and maybe was a little bit cheeky. And it's really hard to find swimsuit bottoms that met the requirements of actually being high-waisted as much as I wanted them to be. Because most, they said they were high-waisted, but it cut off at my belly button and the top would just get sucked into the center part of my stomach and cut me off in a very uncomfortable way. Again, I didn't feel like these requirements were too strict, but I could not find a single thing in stores that met these requirements. It just didn't exist. And I got really frustrated. So if I wanted it, I had to make it. Broke out my sewing machine. I pulled up a video by Jenna Phipps. It was the first video I'd ever seen by her. And I'll link the video I showed, but I just watched one video where she goes over the process of how to make a swimsuit. That was all the information I needed, and I made a swimsuit. The first one didn't turn out super perfect. The bottoms were a little bit too loose. The top was a little bit too tight, but the second attempt turned out so much better. And I've since then made, 8 swimsuits, and I love them all. They all fit exactly the way I wanted them to. I had complete control over the color, the texture. All of mine are fully lined. They're reversible. and they fit me. I went from not owning a swimsuit for 4 solid years because I could not stand the way I looked in swimsuits, and I thought it was a self-confidence issue, which it was, don't get me wrong. But once I tried on one of the swimsuits I made that fit my body the way I wanted it to, I felt so cute. Not every time, but most of the time, which is something that had never happened before. I had never once felt cute in a swimsuit. And there's something kind of magical that happens with any sort of craft or art where you're making wearable items. There's a certain point where your skill level surpasses the quality that you could afford to purchase. So I know that I can sew swimsuits at a much higher quality level that are going to last a lot longer than any swimsuit I could afford to buy in the store. Oh, and some crafty side tips that I didn't know where to throw in, and I'll just mention here. Something I mentioned in my color palettes video was the concept of having colors that you absolutely love, but you don't really like the way that they look on you. And my example for that was the color yellow. I love the color yellow. It's featured heavily in my home, but I don't love the way that it looks on me. And if you're someone that has colors like that in your mind that you just love, but you don't quite like the way that they look on you, if you're a knitter or crocheter, or sewist even, scrappy projects. Slip those colors into scrappy projects. Every time I've done a scrappy sweater, I think, I'm confident saying this, I've slipped in some yellow. Because I know I wouldn't love wearing a full yellow sweater, but I like that I can still have yellow be represented in my closet with a scrappy project. And another tip, not exactly groundbreaking, but I definitely would recommend being a pattern repeater. I found a pair of pants that I really like sewing. It's a pattern, Lane Pants pattern by Sydney Graham. I've mentioned them a million times before. They're really popular. And I really love the way they fit. And I've messed around with the pattern. I've done it enough times where I know what changes I like being made so that they fit me the way I want them to fit me. And it's a way that I can have multiple pair of pants to get me through the week in various colors, textures, patterns, fabrics. So that's not everyone's thing, but I am more than happy to have multiple of the same items of clothing in different colors in my closet. And if you're okay doing that, pattern repeating, great way to do that, especially because when you're repeating the same patterns over and over again, naturally you're going to get more comfortable and perfect it over time. In case you haven't figured it out yet, this video, it's not like a clear path like the previous videos in this series have been. This is just a concoction of random sections that I didn't want to make into their own specific videos. So I'm putting them all together here. So this next section is all about embracing your quirks and letting go of the concept of perfection. What does this look like? Is there an outfit that you wear over and over again and you feel a little weird about the fact that you wear it over and over again? Maybe people comment on it that you wear it too much. Well, maybe that's your signature look. Maybe you just like it that much. That's okay. Lean into it. Note that no one is judging your outfits but you, and if someone really is judging your outfits that much, then maybe their opinion isn't one worth caring about, because they clearly don't have a lot going on. Also, just know that any style quirks that you might have, like for me, I really love monochrome outfits. I love when my entire outfit head to toe, same color. Makes me happy. Those style quirks are clues to what makes your style yours. Yeah, embrace the quirkiness. Are you someone that's really into fantasy? Allow yourself to lean into that and explore. If you want to go full on cosplay, go full on cosplay. But if you don't want to go that hard, you can definitely take inspiration from elements of fantasy and bring that into your closet in slightly more subdued ways. And it's something that can add a ton of personality to your wardrobe. I think it would be really dope if I knew someone that was really into fantasy and decided to implement little elements of that into their daily clothing. That's super awesome, especially if it feels authentic to them. If you feel like you're forcing it or it feels too confining, then it's not really you. So whatever that thing might be for you, let yourself lean into it a bit more. So being weird, being different, super awesome. And play into that as much as you can, but also know it is 100% okay if that is not you. You are allowed to have a more basic or normie sense of style. Where I live, my style is considered very basic, very normal, but when I visit relatives in small town North Dakota, I feel like I stick out like a sore thumb. My style is a lot more loud and exuberant than what other people are wearing around me. So it's all just a matter of perspective anyways. In case I haven't made it clear, this entire series is just a long-winded way of saying whatever feels right to you, whatever you like the most, do it. Unless you like graphic tees with like hate speech on them, in which case I can't help you. And a healthy reminder here that personal style does not equal personal worth. Clothes can maybe help you with your body image or self-confidence, but they're not going to fix deep-rooted issues that exist inside of you. If you truly hate your body and have a difficult relationship with it, getting the right shirt isn't going to fix that for you. And if it's something that you struggle with a lot, talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to a mental health professional if that's something you can afford to do. But at the end of the day, be kind to yourself. No wardrobe will ever fully fix a shaky self-image. It'll still be there. So don't throw away your precious time and energy and money looking for the perfect skirt, because every time you try and look for a skirt, you hate the way that it makes your hips look. The skirt you're looking for probably doesn't exist. There's not a skirt out there that's going to completely reshape the way your body is formed. And instead of wasting your time trying to find this perfect skirt that suddenly makes you like your body that probably doesn't exist, it might be a little easier to go down the path of just accepting that your hips exist and they look the way that they look. There's nothing wrong with them. They're just hips, even if you're not in love with them every day. And if you're unfamiliar with the term, I would highly recommend folks that struggle with this look into the concept of body neutrality. I found that to be a much more approachable way of healing my relationship with my own body than body positivity, which I think has really good intentions, but it's very difficult to get to a place of being inherently positive and just being super in love with your body all the time and loving the way you look. It's just not realistic for most of us. So I have found body neutrality to be a more approachable concept. And if you've never heard the term before, the whole concept is really just, this is my body. It's just a body. It's the way it is. I don't really have a lot of control over the way my nose is shaped. If you're someone that doesn't like your nose, it's just a nose. It doesn't make you ugly. It doesn't make you pretty. It doesn't make you a better person. It doesn't make you a worse person. It's just a nose. It doesn't have that much power. So you don't need to be in love with this nose that you've always been self-conscious of, but maybe give yourself some space to just be like, it's just a nose. And at the end of the day, when it comes to wardrobe, clothing, personal style, whatever you want to call it, the goal to me is to feel more like myself, not a perfect version of myself that doesn't exist. A random tip that I should have brought up at some point, but I didn't know where to stick it, is to plan ahead. So I've done this in the context of funerals. I personally have not been to a funeral since I was a kid. I think I've only been to 2 in my entire life. That's not true. I went to 1 in college, but that was specifically, we were requested not to wear black to that funeral. But for most, if you go to traditional funerals in the United States, most of the time for religious services, you're expected to wear black. And I have a lot of family members and friends where I know if they were to pass away at their funerals, I would probably be expected to wear black. I don't own a lot of black, especially not more formal black. So I decided, instead of, waiting till the last minute where someone actually passes away and I have to, figure out how to get to wherever the funeral is and around that, dealing with any potential grief that exists, on top of trying to find an outfit to wear to the funeral, that just feels so low priority in that moment. And it's just another stressor you don't need when you have had a loved one pass away. So I personally have planned in advance for funerals. I have already pre-purchased an outfit that I can wear in multiple different occasions. It doesn't just have to be for funerals, but it's just a little black dress that I think would be appropriate in a funeral setting. And I think will adjust with my body if I gain or lose a little bit of weight, so that I know it's there for the long run, because you never know when it's going to happen. I've done the same with weddings. I already have wedding guest dresses. I do not need to purchase a dress or a new outfit for any wedding I'm invited to in the future. And because I planned ahead, I have a dress that I actually really love and feel comfortable in, that's just ready to go when a funeral pops up, instead of having to rush and buy something that I actually hate and don't really want to wear ever again. Another tip is to be an outfit repeater. Lots of people on the internet have been saying this. I want to be another voice echoing it. Be an outfit repeater. I don't know a single person that actually judges people for repeating outfits. I don't know where that judgment came from. Part of me thinks it's made up, but I'm sure there are people out there that judge others for repeating outfits. But I'm not just talking about your daily wear outfits. Obviously, we're normal people. We don't have $1 billion to spend on a massive closet. We're going to outfit repeat. But I would consider, if you don't do this already, being an outfit repeater for more specialized occasions. Go all in on a higher quality outfit, or as high a quality as you feel comfortable, spending, that you can wear every year to these special occasions. If you're someone that goes to the Renaissance Fair every year, if you want to wear a different outfit every single time because that's your thing, great, go for it. That's totally a thing. But if you're someone that just likes going, let yourself go all in on a really dope Ren Fair outfit that you're going to wear every year. You can do the same for Halloween if you go to festivals on a regular basis. If you're someone that goes to concerts, have a dedicated concert outfit. Weddings, funerals, these special occasions that pop up multiple times in our lives. Let yourself be mindful, thoughtful, and consider Am I willing to just go all in and wear the same thing repeatedly? I, for one, don't need a new costume for every Halloween, but I do like dressing up for Halloween. So I have one Halloween costume. And it's not even a high quality one. It's just cow footy pajamas with like a fake really big nose ring and an ear tag that I stick on an earring. And it's sort of just a placeholder because I would love to have a really awesome Halloween costume that I do every year. I just haven't decided what that is. I know I want to make it. Stay tuned. There might be a Halloween costume making video in my future. But I want to put some thought into it because it's something I want to wear every year for like the next 15, 20, however many years. All right, closing thoughts. We finally made it. You survived the series. Let's go. When you do all the work, when you have all the rules, when you have the palettes and the questions and the what with all the stuff, all the homework completed, when you have intentional rules in place and understand how they work, that's kind of essential so that you can intentionally break the rules. They say the same thing in art. If you take an art 101 class, a lot of professors will tell you you need to learn the basics, this really boring stuff, all the rules, all the things you're supposed to do, so that you can purposefully, intentionally, and powerfully break these rules later on. So you don't need to always follow your own rules, but when you have the rules in place, you can break the rules with a clear head, knowing exactly what you're doing and why you're doing it. My final disclosure here is this whole entire series. This is how my brain works around wardrobe, closet, personal style. It is not how everyone's brain works. It's not necessarily how yours works. It might be, but it's probably not. If all of our brains worked the same way, it'd be a pretty boring world. So it is totally okay if this just doesn't compute to you. And the last thing is to let go of the concept of should. Firmly believe that there is no such thing as good advice. There just simply is advice. It's good for some and bad for others. So be wary of someone, even me, saying you should be doing X, Y, and Z. A common piece of advice, someone might say you need more variety in your wardrobe. Well, that's good advice for some people, but that's not very good advice for me. Because when I did try to intentionally build in a lot of variety in my closet, I didn't like it. I didn't wear a lot of that extra stuff. I thrive in a closet where I have limitations in place. So across this entire series, take the advice that you like, take the advice that works for you, leave everything else behind. Thank you for joining me. This was a really fun series to work on and a fun little deviation from the normal knitting content. I love collecting my thoughts and formalizing them in a format like this. So it was a really fun exercise for me, and I've definitely taken a very critical look at my closet in the process of making these videos. All right, that's all I got.
Ay, amor, te quiero dar mis días, también darte mis noches.